in the red felt before, did we? I see that. I've got the felt laying here. I'm trying to get this all done in a span of time. After I already had red in there, but after, usually you don't have the red on until later. You cut a red circle the same size, and after you've glued this part in the cloth into the mouth, then you use tacky glue or a glue, that type of a glue, and put the red circle inside, and then trim to meet. You have all this. You trim the red to meet the cloth that's gone inside to form the lips. Forgot to tell you that. I'm sorry. Also, you could put a palette in with a leg pattern. There's a palette and a tongue pattern that also I will send you for free. All right, let's go on to the rest of the body. Now that we have our head ready, we need a body to put it on. So first of all, let's talk about puppets. You take that same head and you get a body this size. What you do to find out what size of a body that you have for the puppet is it's around 23 inches around, and however long you want it for the shirt material that you're going to put on it, because you're going to get a shirt at a yard sale or buy it at a store, probably between 3T, 4T, 5T. Just, look at it. I always make my bodies to fit the puppet and the shirt that I have. Okay, this is probably 6 or 8 inches long, but for a ventriloquist figure, I start out with 23 by 23, and I hot glue gun the pieces together. It takes a long time. Like I said, you can watch television or something while you're doing it. You can use contact cement too, but hot glue gun, it works a lot better. And you put them together edge to edge until it ends up this way. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I usually put that in the front for the stomach so that I'm going to make a hole in the back. Now there's for you to put your hand in it. About, I'd say, a couple inches down from the top. Then if it's too long, when you set the puppet down, if it's too long, you cut off so that it looks natural. You cut off whatever you need. That's why I like to make them that long. If you make a really big character, it may be longer. Now, I made this out of really expensive foam, and cheap foam is a lot better than expensive foam. There's the hole in the hand. This is the kind of foam that you get. This is like a crib mattress. This is that's the 2-inch foam we're making the bodies from. And here again, then I sculpt the top so it will fit into the neck. Now, for a professional type puppet, if you wanted to make them to sell, then you really need to line the whole thing. And this is what it looks like lined with the arms on it. Just a hot glue gun, and you just start out and just start lining. Let's go on to the arms. My hand and arm pattern is on the same sheet that I will send to you with the mouth, different parts of the mouth pattern. Now, if you want smaller arms, you can always, don't forget your copy machines. That will reduce things in size. They are just invaluable. Well, you cut the pattern out, and it's very simple. It's just 2 of those. You can make it longer or shorter. 2 of the patterns, you lay it out. I just did some short ones here on a double piece of cloth with the face inside, and pin it together, and then stitch it right around the lines, and then cut it out, say 1/4 of an inch beyond the lines, and then reverse it, turn it inside out just like a glove. And then if you want to have the fingers to be posable, then you can use a piece of some wire or some chenille, and you fold it over, and then what you do in essence is line with wire all the way around there. It takes some doing, but a lot of my hands, instead of going like this, the puppet you can pose their hands by putting the wire. You have to bend it ahead of time, bend up a wire, and put it around like that on the inside. And then you stuff it with polyester fiberfill after that, and then they'll pose. You don't have to do that, but it's just a nice added touch. Now, another thing that we're going to do is show you where to pin them. I don't have any hands on these, but also if you want an elbow, so stitch an elbow right across the middle. That's why you've got bendable arms, so that we can use the hands more easily. I'm going to show you now about the legs. And again, I have a free pattern that if you will send me a double-stamped business-size self-addressed envelope, ask for the free patterns for the polyfoam cloth puppets, and I will send them to you. Now, the pattern is just like, these are the large size legs, and these are the small size legs. Now, I'm going to put the small size legs on the pattern for you, and you enlarge it on a copy machine if you want them bigger. And there's a little piece on a little sole on the bottom, and that is very self-explanatory. And then you just stuff it. Now you can put knees in too. If you want to decide where the knee is going to be, you stuff it to here, and then you put it on your machine, sew it right across, and then you'll have a joint, just like I have a jointed elbow. Do the same thing on the elbows or on the knees or on the elbows, and then stuff it the rest of the way. Now, where do we put that? Well, can you tell me which? Tell the teacher. Which would we use? The large, the long legs, or the short legs? Well, I think we'll use the long legs. And you could sew them if you're going to sell it, but I safety pin. See how nicely this is sewn right here for the ones that are commercial, be able to be commercial, is right there, safety pin. And you can sometimes even leave a little cloth. Experiment to see when it sits on your knee. Or now, of course, if it's a puppet, it's not going to have legs, but it could. Some puppets have legs, especially like in my puppet theater where they can sit up higher. Okay? Then we have to choose the clothing, and I've got a lot of different programs on costuming. Probably, I'd say this one would have, with a leg, you learn to do it. I'd say probably 6X or 7, and then if it was a little bit, you could take some of the stuffing out or add a little bit more stuffing to it. Add a little bit more shoulder padding. It's so neat because unlike children, you can make the bodies to fit the clothing that you have. Now, I'm going to show you some of the puppets that I have made with this foam-based style. Okay? These are more of a sure thing. The soft sculpture, if you don't have artistic ability, is harder to do. A lot harder. And these will come out right when you make them. This is Chuckles. He's stayed the same for, say, the last 15 years. A foam-based puppet. Polyfoam puppet with cloth covering. He has a light-up nose. And a clown suit that I made for him. And a tie. And I just have stuffed gloves. They've got, they have wires. Bendable wires inside. And his feet, just made big clown feet. Are my polyfoam cloth-covered puppets. This is Holly Hobby and George and Fooling You. I used to just have one, now he's 2. Granny Pringle, Susie Space Case, and that's Mrs. Longnecker, and Mrs. Minnie Happy Returns, the Indian, Baby Ruthie, Raggedy Ann, the Bride, the Groom. I can't find the Groom. Oh, he must be waiting there's the Groom down here. And Professor, and Sissy and Sassy, and Cowboy Red, Rachel, Chief Runamuck, Rudy, and sleeping is Pancho Gonzalez. There's the Groom. And here is Zeke, the junk food freak, Mrs. Bertram, and Chuckles the Clown. I'm so glad you joined us today, and I hope that you've learned how to make cloth-covered foam puppets. And again, if you would like to have the patterns for free that I talked about today, you write to me, Barbara Dewey, 731 North State, Alma, Michigan, 48801. because I want you to be a better teacher, entertainer, and even a better craftsman, because these puppets are so nice that they need to be more distributed and shared with the people.